Hello, it's future Jared. Welcome to the shop. I am Jared, and this is the Questionable Garage, and I'm coming to you from the future to tell you guys a story about how past Jared should have used one of these a little bit. So let's begin. Chapter 1. Jared is incredibly excited to get his brand new xTool 3-in-1 Metal Fab System. That's what's around me. I've got the 3-in-1 cleaner cutter welder to my right, the wire feeder, and this awesome CNC cabinet next to me. Jared used the instructions just enough to put the cabinet together and then decided to wing it. Should I go to chapter 2? Chapter 2. Jared wastes a lot of money because he didn't read those instructions. But it's not all nightmarish. There's some really good stuff that's going to happen in today's episode, and I am thrilled to actually finally get to show this off. Now, you've seen me do some of the cleaning in the past, but we're going to bust out the welder, maybe do some of the welding right, and also continue to ignore instructions. And we are going to do a whole lot of cutting that I am very impressed with, and realize it gave really simple instructions. I just couldn't follow them. So follow along while past Jared makes some mistakes, wastes some money, cuts some really cool stuff, and accidentally gets hired for a job. So Dwayne, cut in however you see fit. Good luck, because it's a thing. Now, real quick before we jump too deep into the CNC cabinet, let me tell you about the specs of our Metal Fab laser. All right, now that you're familiar a little bit with our 3-in-1 wizard of a machine there, let's take a look at this cabinet. Now, on the outside, it is a very sturdy metal case. If you saw in our unpackaging video, the thing came together phenomenally well. It fit perfectly, and it's relatively attractive. Now, it does have the plastic shielding in front. It does protect you from the laser. You still don't want to stare directly at it, but it lets you monitor the cutting action. On the back, you've got an exhaust fan to get those fumes out. You've got stop buttons. Couple other things. Let me bring you a little bit closer, better angle to see just the machine. Now that you can see the machine a little bit better, you see the emergency stop, different USB communication methods. On the back, you have a Wi-Fi antenna to connect to your network and software remotely, or you can plug directly in, whatever you want. On each side, you have an open slit with bristles, so that way you can feed longer material into it. You don't have to have everything cut down to a real small size. And that pretty much covers the outside. Let's take a look on the inside, where you'll find today's sponsor, Factor, and they're ready to heat and eat meals. Now, life is busy enough without having to constantly worry about making sure you're taking the time to get some good food, down in your stomach. It's tempting to jump on those food ordering apps where you're gonna overpay for fast food delivered late and is cold and soggy. Well, a much better and now healthier option is Factor with their ready to heat and eat meals. Now, when I say ready to heat and eat, you take it out of the fridge, you poke a couple holes in the top of it, throw it in the microwave for 2 minutes, and you've got a warm, delicious, fresh meal for less than the cost of your fast food on that delivery app. Now, these aren't just random thrown together meals. They are chef-crafted, dietitian approved, so you know they're gonna be good. And it's just gotten better. They've got twice the options when it comes to picking out your weekly meals. Calorie Smart is a lifesaver. You're going to get something delicious that has pre-portioned amounts for you. You're going to get between 350 and 550 calories to make sure it fits in. Now, when I say they're getting better, it's not just little 1 or 2 things here. They've added more high-end seafood if that's what you're looking for, more shrimp options, higher quality fish. You've got that covered. If you see a pork chop meal you really want to try, but you hate pork, well, with some of the meals, you can swap your proteins, meaning pork's out, chicken is in. They're making it easier than ever to get fresh, never frozen meals that meet your dietary needs than ever. And if you need more than just meals, you're able to get shakes. They have different snacks to get you in between your meals. Whatever you need, they've probably got an option for you. And this is where it gets even better right now, especially when you use my code. If you head on over to factor75.com, scan that QR code, or click the link in the description and use code questionablefb50, also in the description down below, you're gonna save 50% off your first box and get 1 free year of breakfast with an active renewing subscription. If you have not tried Factor yet, you are missing out. I absolutely love their meals. They taste fantastic. There is always a huge variety. And again, right now, factor75.com, using code questionablefb50, you're saving 50% off that first box, and with renewing subscription, you get free breakfast. All right, guys, that's enough. I'm gonna get back to that meal from the B-roll because it's really good and I want to finish enjoying it. That was kind of weird how I suddenly changed shirts and everything. But with that look on the inside, we have, of course, the CNC head. We've got the slats to hold everything and a tray at the bottom to catch metal shards. That kind of, is it for the tour. Let's get started and actually start using it a little bit. Let's get that laser on the ground set up, all of our air compressors going, and start cutting some metal. I know this is an automotive channel, and lots of other people have already covered the arts and crafts side of the xTool equipment, so I kind of want to make this. Yes, it's a little arts and crafty, but I thought it looked really cool and it would showcase everything really well. And don't worry, we're still going to make some car parts today. Starting to get this thing brought to life. And we are now in the software and it's running through calibrations. One little step I really like is it told me everything it wants to do. Gives you a quick video tutorial explaining what it's gonna do, what to expect. I'm gonna kind of watch this video. I'm gonna show some of the machine doing its thing. We're gonna get it cutting hopefully soon. All right, guys, close the lid. We're gonna hit start. There we go. So it centered the laser. I'm gonna have to figure out how to show you guys in there. So that's centered now. And then we take our pointer finger. And now we wait patiently. So what this is doing now is intentionally shaking the machine. I've got the rubber feet down. It's not 100% perfectly leveled because it's not gonna stay in front of my tire equipment. It doesn't have its home yet. But right now, it tells you it's gonna get really loud and it's gonna start shaking it. So let's see. Do you hear that deep little rumble? Can't see a thing in there, but those old subwoofer test soundtracks, that's what I got going on right now. It's a very expensive subwoofer. Aw, thanks. High five to you too. So we're on to our next step of calibration. Just because I'm showing you all the steps, your laser focal adjustment. What that is, you loosen that screw, undo this clamp, and it tells you to go to +1 on these marks. See, it came at 0. We are now exactly on the etched +1. There we go, a little bit better. So that's just a physical adjustment, nothing electronic for you to do. And now we're on to the next one. Got some mild steel loaded in. I think we got everything ready. I'm going to we're gonna close that. We're gonna refresh our image here. So it looks like everything's there. What I now want to try to do, we are gonna select the parts we're cutting. Application, And I want to smart nest auto-based. Okay, so that, I am really appreciating the software. It's saying, hey, if you have stuff, if they're nested or in each other, they're one part, whereas you see here, it will nest that circle separately. So let's see if it decides to do anything different with it. But there's plenty of material space. What are you talking about? Yeah. Listen, you know, I wonder if it's a lighting problem. We're learning together. Let me try the tutorial. So it's nested right. It, for some reason, is not wanting, it's having a hard time because of the rust. Maybe I should clean the metal. I don't know. I know it's nested and will work there. So let's just send it, you know? We'll let it optimize. Okay, so it's tweaked that. I need to open the lid, and it wants me to set to -8. Little air compressor up and running. So bring her on up. I don't know. That seems awfully high, but that's what it says. What calibration? Oh, well, more calibrating. You know, when you overthink stuff, the calibrate captive sensor, that's just to make sure it doesn't slam into the piece. So you tell it where on the metal you want it to learn the height of your piece, and then you go. It's CNC cutting 101. So now that that's ready, and you can just see me, let's hit process. Start. Talking about this guy. Yep. Lots of safeties, and I'm not upset. Like, it is closed. I need to see if there's a little adjustment for that. Let me push a button. That made a noise. We are going. I don't know that we're cutting through. I'm assuming so because we got sparks blasting. I just heard a little piece fall. We are cutting with light right now, guys. That is so cool. You know, looking through, I was kind of worried some of these lines, like that line did not look cut through. That cut through absolutely perfect. You may be wondering, why are there weird flowery things? When I first started talking with xTool, they had one sample product I thought was the coolest thing ever, and really wanted to make one. So while we're a car channel, I'm making something for my garden that I currently don't have, but not too warm. Let's see. Pop her on out, maybe. Ugh. Man, when the clip's that tight. All right, so we were right at the limit of what shouldn't need processing. I think if I ran it a little bit slower, although that kind of looks cool on its own too. We got to get all those little bits knocked off, and I need 15 of these, 4 of a different part, 1 of another part, and 5 of another part. There's a lot of cutting to go. I opened up the support website, said the problem, it pulled up an article, said, check this. I'm not, saying having to make small tweaks on a new machine is the greatest. This was really one of their very first machines, period. But we're on to our next part of our not very much car part. Oh, it's all the way over there cutting. We'll let it rip through, and then, believe it or not, we are gonna make some car parts with this thing. The next day, and this is where I'm gonna say the thing that guys hate to hear. Read the manual and all the documentation, because step 1 of cutting is make a small test cut. Make sure things are good, that you didn't just burn through $100 worth of metal because you're too stubborn to open up a piece of paper, or in this case, a really fantastic website. I went in. What we're fighting is when we're cutting, all of that buildup on the backside is called dross, D-R-O-S-S. It can be caused by multiple things, not enough air, sometimes too much air, cut speed too slow, cut speed too high, and I just was, put my head down and kept beating it against the wall, trying to make it work. And then I finally was like, let's take a look at what we can find. And I discovered something. So first, I just jumped on the support page and typed in excessive draw, what was it? Dross when cutting. Pulls up this great article, gives us a couple other things. All of my lens protectors, the things are right. The hard dross is definitely what we're fighting with, because trying to sand it is not working out. So it's actually saying, hey, try to do this. And then they even say, hey, why not give us a call if you're still having problems? But I kept noticing something. When I hit my process, I kept seeing that, but not paying attention to it. I tried setting the compressed air down there, and it got really bad. And then I noticed oxygen. It's telling me exactly what we want. Check the shielding gas. Carbon steel. And galvanized sheet. In 2mm to 10mm. Oxygen. When we're cutting all of the thin stuff, it can rip in argon and compressed air. But had this genius, I will defend myself. I am used to terrible equipment documentation. Like useless level equipment documentation, and you just figure it out and you talk to people. I'm just absolutely blown away with how good the documentation is there. How just absolutely phenomenal, again, how much coverage there is for everything. There's even more. If you're considering getting a laser machine, just go on their website and look at how much they're supporting their equipment, everything. So I was working on, years and years of crappy companies not supporting product, and it would have saved me, a day and a half and a lot of money had I just looked at the manual. I know, guys, that just all of you, you hurt hearing, look at the manual, but just do it. It'll save you a lot of time. So now I've got to go get a tank of pure oxygen, a little bit more metal, and then I'm going to show you what this thing can really do. Finally. What an idiot. All right, well, we've got new gas setup, so let's try actually making car parts. Give it a try. We got the right metal, we got the right gas. Maybe. So after flunking out of the Laser Cutting Arts and Crafts Academy, I decided it was time to make some car parts. So I called my friend Randy, who sent over 2 files that look deceptively simple, but can be very difficult to cut right. They're speaker brackets to go into the dash of an International Harvester Scout 2 or an International Harvester Scout 800. Well, we got some cuts. Initially are looking pretty decent. That may need a little bit of fine tuning, but so far I'd say we're doing a whole lot better. Made some small tweaks to try to get that sharp edge cleaning up where it almost looks like a file. And maybe, just maybe, we'll have this machine learned and we can get back. You know, I mean, we're making car parts, useful stuff. I am an automotive channel, but I kind of want to make that other thing, but I definitely need more metal because, you know, when the software says do test cuts and you immediately start cutting the whole thing. Don't be like me, be smart. We'll try again. I'm slowed it down 9mm a second. My next stop is we might bring this up to 2 and see if we can get it just a little bit cleaner in post, because this is actually looking good. We're dealing with, obviously, the metal's a little bit dirty, but if we look on the edges again, there you go, right there. We can get them a little smoother than that. I basically did a production run. How good did the machine do? I accidentally got a job. He needed a production run of those parts in 2 different sizes. So that's what we did. I figured there are plenty of people who are doing the arts and crafts side of the xTool in their videos. We are going the opposite angle. We're doing production, fabrication, shop work, and unfortunately, I've not had the things to build just yet, but what I do want to look, we have got to clean that tray out. We have made a lot of metal, but looking, we have a little over 5 hours of runtime, and what I am really curious is how do our lens protectors look right now? So, really shouldn't do this one-handed. So we'll free up our gun, set it there, and we're gonna look at our first lens protector, because that's gonna give a really good indication of how the machine is holding up. Like if you look at this half of it, that all looks great. Also, we're done cutting, it's time to weld. And I love me some laser welding. So this is our first lens protector, because you have 2 and then a focusing lens. And I don't know if you can see. That's absolutely perfect. There's been no significant anything as far as bouncing back and causing problems. When we're doing the handheld cleaning, I went through 2 of those protectors. So when it comes to any concern about what happens if you run this laser in production cutting, nothing. It does it just fine. I'm cutting on the 1/8 inch 10 gauge plate. We cut 8 parts out all at once. That 8 parts took 13 minutes for it to cut, and the laser is perfect. No complaints from it at all. So let's get this thing pulled out, converted back to welding, which is all a matter of flip that, pull one part, slide in another part, and connect different gas to our welding. It's insane. I love how easy this thing comes together, goes apart to do everything. So let me go show you what we are gonna be welding. And there she is ready. Again, it took all of 10 seconds to put that together. Once we are actually set up, we will confirm on our settings. The software will let us know what our exact focal length needs to be here. 99% of the time, 0 is gonna work perfect. We've got our wire set, ready to go. And this is what we're gonna weld. Right now, there's nothing to weld, but what we're going to do is we're gonna take this over the sheet metal brake. This is an International Harvester Scout 2 shifter console. These came in plastic and pretty much none of them survived. So friend Randy remakes them out of really nice steel, and he'll break this and then they will MIG weld both sides, and then they have to sand and cut it down. Part of that is so they can have nice smooth rounded edges, but we are both incredibly curious what happens if we hit it with the laser weld. Do we have just a really sexy pretty weld that we're gonna run it as is? So we're gonna break this and see what we can do. Like I said, everyone's doing arts and crafts. I apparently suck at arts and crafts, so we're making car parts. So we're now set up to weld, but you kind of want to clean before you weld. So let me show you this. Slide that off, and the wire feed is clear of the gun. Pull that tip. Now it's ready to clean. We got our safety clamp. Now that that's clean and ready, come back to weld. I'm pleased with how easy this is to switch between functions, because a 3-in-1 is great, but if it's just, you know, you dread switching between anything, are you really gaining anything by having that multi-function? Let's do a quick test weld here. Oh dear. Did I actually catch the table too? I just welded to the table. Well, that might be part of the table now. All right, so maybe we're ready to go for this. So all right, to be fair to the machine, this is not a good thing for a laser welder. It is not really good at filling gaps. It's good at material that fits correctly, and this isn't that piece. I'm not faulting the machine for it, because we're asking it to do what it's not designed to do. Let's try an inside seam first, and then the outside seam. Like, this is all stuff the machine can do. It's just natively not quote unquote normal for it. Oh, don't grab the spot you welded in the past before. Ow. That had a real nice inside weld. Now we just need to make a nice outside weld. That is getting way close. Did we eliminate service steps on this? Not really, but I don't blame it one bit, because that's a very hard thing for it to weld. That's one reason why I really wanted arts and crafts time to work out for us. Also, I'm kind of bummed because the wife got kind of excited about the idea of the fire pit. It didn't work out, but let's see if we can kind of set up and do a couple welds. This is also much thicker metal than they suggest doing it with. Let me grab my magnets. The suggested build is hold them together utilizing tape. That might work if you use the right size metal, but that doesn't work as good if you're a dum-dum like me and just do what you want. I'm getting close to not worrying about making the design anymore. All right, I'm gonna bring you back once I kind of finish tacking this bottom. I'm gonna rip the welds together. And I'm gonna explain why I kind of wanted to do a fire pit and what this is really showcasing in our laser welder. Well, all right, you saw in that last little bit of footage, we ripped through and welded what would be the base of our arts and crafts project to make that awesome fire pit. Listen, I could have read the instructions at the beginning and not wasted a bunch of metal, but I didn't. So we can't make our arts and crafts, but that is okay because we're guys, we don't do it. But I do strongly suggest when you're using something as expensive as this equipment, spend a little bit of time reviewing what you're supposed to do. But what was the result of the welds? Now, I was playing with the settings a lot. The fit up was terrible. When you're laser welding, it really does like a good fit up. I mean, look at that. That was me ripping. I had it pretty solid and it was basically moving the material itself as it was welding. We've covered laser welding in depth in the past. This is more about the xTool 1200 watt fiber and the Metal Fab setup. So the cutting side of things, phenomenal. I would have really enjoyed it. I'm not saying I won't, I might redraw it, but the fire pit would have been a lot of fun. But let's see how those welds go. Let's see. I mean, not bad. And I did have my fabricator friend stop by. Not this video sponsor, but we got a brunt stamp. And where was it? I had one weld where I had everything going real good. And I asked him to guess how long it took. Because this is a lot of distance to cover very quickly. And it's less than 2 seconds per seam. It rips. Does really good. But that's enough about welding. Let's talk about my thoughts on the Metal Fab system as a whole. And that is our air compressor, dryer, CNC cutter, wire feeder, and 3-in-1. I am thrilled they're in the shop, and I'm kind of angry it took me so long to finally get the stuff together and get to running it. And that comes from the fact that sun's setting and it's awful. And that comes from the fact simply when you have the 3-in-1s, you feel like they always compromise in some way. I talk about that way a lot when it comes to like the traditional welding multi-function machines where they can stick and they MIG, and I feel like you compromise somewhere. In my experience with the other laser welders and so far with the laser cleaning, And hands down with the laser cutting, the machine has not skipped a beat. When I do what it needs it to do, it made it very clear how to troubleshoot problems. And I ran it at a very high duty cycle. We got our first job. The machine has already made us money, which is phenomenal. I wasn't the goal. I was just trying to find something to cut, and they were like, hey, we need a production run done. So I did the production run and was able to generate money already. Now, if you've got a killer home garage, maybe you get one, but this is more for shop owners and fab guys. These things can generate money and do it really well, and if you set up and take care of them, it's a pretty low maintenance machine, again, as long as you set it up. And all of the cutting that I've done, I went through a 4x8 sheet of 10 gauge, I went through about a 4x4 sheet of 14 gauge, and we had some 16 gauge mixed in there as well. And when inspecting that lens like we did earlier, the protectors, they were spotless. They look perfect. There was no problem at all with them. So you're gonna have relatively low maintenance. And again, depending on where you're at in the country, laser cutting machine hour rates change a lot, but in this relative area, you're about $225 an hour on machine time. So you can make a decent bit of money. Now, hands-on is the best thing, and that's one thing. xTool is going around at tons of trade shows, so if you want to get your hands on it, you can click the link in the description as well, and you will find different shows they'll be at. And if you reach out and you're a serious customer, I do know they have programs where they kind of get you tickets into some of the trade shows. So all that to say, we are going to be burning through a lot more metal, putting this thing to a whole lot more work soon. And I already accidentally made money from it. I kind of thought that I had just wasted a whole lot of money, but we broke even by the time we were done making some real parts. So maybe, sorry wife, we'll get a fire pit eventually. You know, questionable choices. We don't read manuals here. We just go full send. But I hope you guys enjoyed watching me kind of play with the latest and greatest in modern tech, do it mostly correctly, and have some positive results. I know the tool review video, sometimes they do great, sometimes they don't. This is one I hope it does fairly well, because I really like this machine, and I hope you guys enjoyed watching us play with it. I'm Jared, reminding you guys to always make questionable choices and look at the manual. I know we're not supposed to, but do it. We'll see you next time.